Hey, this is Brian Wall with worshiptutorials.com. We've got a guitar lesson today. This is another lesson in our rhythm and strumming series. This is going to be short and sweet, but this one is effective. I use this one a lot. So today I'm just going to be talking about down strums. And to do this, it's just as simple as it sounds. It's just strumming just downs. So here I'm going to give you an example. I'm just playing a G chord. Okay? This may sound really boring to you, and it does, because it is. So let's talk about how to spice it up. So first thing we're going to want to do is talk about how we count it. So in our previous lessons in this series, you can check them out over at worshiptutorials.com. We've gone over how to count, and we're just going to stick into 4/4 times. So we've talked about quarter notes, eighth notes, 16th notes. All we need to know really today, we're probably going to be talking quarter notes or 16th notes. So if you're counting 4/4 time, 4 beats in a measure, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. This will be your foot tapping. 1, 2. Those are quarter notes. The downs and the ups constitute the eighth notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And then 16th notes would be just break that into half again. 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and. All right? I feel like a band teacher. That's what my band teacher did. Those are 16th notes. So let's just talk eighth notes. So let's say we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and down, 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 down. It's as simple as that. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. You could, if you're in a slow song, think about this in 16th notes. So 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. Okay? The next thing to talk about to make this a little more interesting is you're going to emphasize some downs and you're going to not emphasize others. So a very simple one is just think of it down, 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 down. That'll be our first pattern. So down, 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 down. So I'll count it now. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. I'm just running through a progression. So now these things are sounding a little more interesting. And how do you know what to emphasize? That's probably the next question. So here's my advice. I would listen to your drummer. A lot of times it's going to be kind of this formula that you can use is the 2 and the 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. And you might ask yourself, where do we come up with 2 and 4? Well, typically in just a regular old drum beat, if your drummer's playing, he's going to play kick, snare, kick, snare, kick, snare. The snare, the kick is your big thunk, and then the snare is like the slap. So the snare is going to be a little more emphasized in the beat just because it's a higher frequency type of a sound, and so that is what you're emulating with your guitar strumming. If you're playing with a band, understand that acoustic guitar, while it is melodic, it is also a rhythmic instrument. Very much so, especially with your strumming. You want to make sure that you are not fighting the drummer, but that the two of you are together. And so the easy way to do this is to emphasize when he hits the snare, so you're both emphasizing the same beat. And a lot of times your strumming pattern will be dictated by sort of what he's doing with the hi-hat kind of a thing, or just what kind of a pattern the drummer is playing. You always want to kind of feed off the drummer as an acoustic player. A couple ways to emphasize. Well, the first thing is you just hit harder. So the next thing, though, that's the easiest way, but it's better to do this with a bit more finesse than that. One thing you can do is on your non-emphasized notes, you can just stick maybe to the 4 bass strings. the E, A, D, and G string. 3 would be even better. It gives you a little more emphasis. And then when you hit the note you want to emphasize, you can strum all 6 strings. So it would sound like this. I'm not going to strum any harder. I'm just going to strum all the strings on my emphasis note and not all of them on the other ones. It sounds like this. So you can do a lot just by what strings you strum, and then if you really want to emphasize it, you can strum it hard and all the strings. So you can play with a lot of dynamics that way. One thing I like to do as well when I hold my pick, I'm not sure how well you can see this, but my index finger covers almost all of this pick. And you really only get a little bit of pick showing. These are not the kind of picks I normally use, but they're the same thickness. It's about 0.7. This is 0.73 millimeter. I like kind of a medium to medium heavy pick. It depends on what I'm playing, what instrument. But what I like to do is have a lot of my finger covering the strings. Now this is really kind of a finesse thing. It might take you a little bit of time to develop this, but just keep at it. So when I strum, I'm actually hitting the strings first with my finger, and then the pick comes behind them. And if I want, I can not hit those strings at all. I can just strum them with my finger, the top of my finger. So the difference in sound is like this. Here where I'm not hitting the pick at all, I'm just brushing my finger on it. That's more of the pick. I'm hitting it the same strength, you could say, but and then you can get a little bit of both, and it almost gives you kind of a palm mute. It's a little different than a palm mute, which would be kind of like this, but it's just a little bit softer feel. And then when you want to dig in, you can dig in with that pick, and it just gives you more dynamic. So that's down strums. Like I said, it was a quick lesson. There's not a lot to say. I mean, down strums are what they are. They're just down strums. But really work on patterns. Listen to the drums in a song when you're trying to figure out a pattern to play, and feel the song and emphasize when the drummer is emphasizing, usually when you hear that big snare hit. I hope this is helpful for you in your rhythm and your strumming. Leave a comment below if you'd like to say something to me, or head over to worshiptutorials.com, and we will see you there. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye. Hey, this is Brian with worshiptutorials.com. The music that you hear in the background right now is called pads, and I believe pads can help completely transform your worship sets. They can help you create awesome environments. They can really help you with transitions and just help make everything smooth. So what pads are is a sound bed that helps create warmth and atmosphere. If you head over to worshiptutorials.com by clicking the link here in the video, you can sample the pads, you can listen to the actual sounds that you will get, you can play along to them to see how they might work in your workflow. What you get are 12 MP3 files. They're 20 minutes long each. There is one file for each of the 12 major keys. These pads are not progression specific, so that means you don't need a click track. For example, if you're playing a song in the key of G, you can just play the key of G pad underneath your song, and anything you play in that key will just fit right in. It'll be seamless, and they just sound great. So head over to Worship Tutorials, check them out. I hope that these are helpful for you. Thanks.